What if the person you trust the most, the one you share your deepest secrets with, the one who knows every inch of your soul, was hiding an obsession so dark it would destroy everything in its path? What if the love that made you feel alive was the same love that would get you killed? Now, imagine realizing that the betrayal wasn't from a stranger, not from an outsider, but from your own family. This is the nightmare Nia Richmond found herself trapped in. A love so intoxicating, so forbidden, that it spiraled into lies, murder, and a confession that shocked an entire community. This story is so unsettling that viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you dare to listen, stay tuned as we unravel the chilling truth. There's this beautiful suburban home in Atlanta, the kind that looks straight out of a real estate ad. A spacious yard, a two-car garage, a wraparound porch where a happy family would sit on warm summer evenings. From the outside, it was picture perfect, the kind of home people dream of owning. Inside, the walls held framed memories. The scent of home-cooked meals lingered in the air, and laughter once filled the rooms. This house belonged to Nia and Khalil Richmond, a couple everyone admired, successful, loving, and deeply rooted in family values. Nia was a respected social worker, passionate about helping people. Khalil was a businessman, driven, charming, the kind of man who turned heads when he walked into a room. Together, they had built a life that seemed unshakable. But what no one knew was that behind closed doors, a forbidden love was brewing, one that would rip their perfect world apart. Because Nia wasn't just in love with her husband, she was in love with his sister. And when the truth finally came out, it was in the most violent, heartbreaking way imaginable. All right, so let's talk about Imani Richmond, Khalil's younger sister, 28 years old. Stunning, confident, the kind of woman who walked into a room and owned it without even trying. She wasn't just beautiful, she was magnetic. The type of person you couldn't help but be drawn to. She had this energy that made people feel alive around her. She and Nia had always been close. Imani was Khalil's little sister, after all. From the moment she met Nia, she adored her, saw her as a big sister, a best friend. They'd have late-night wine nights, talk about life, vent about their problems. It was harmless, completely innocent. Until it wasn't. See, at some point, something shifted. Maybe it was the way Nia started looking at Imani a little too long. Maybe it was the way Imani's touches lingered just a second more than they should have. Or maybe it was the fact that they both felt it, but didn't want to admit it. The first time it happened, it was an accident. Or at least, that's what they told themselves. A moment of weakness. A drunk kiss that neither of them meant to let happen. But then it happened again. And again. And before they knew it, they were in too deep. This wasn't some reckless affair. This wasn't just lust. This was love. Real. Messy. Dangerous. Because Nia wasn't just cheating. She was betraying the one person she had promised to love forever. And when love turns into obsession, that's when things get dangerous. You're probably wondering when all this happened, so let's break it down. This whole thing didn't happen overnight. It was years in the making. Nia and Imani had always been close, but things crossed the line in the summer of 2017. That was the first time they kissed. A drunken, heat-of-the-moment kind of thing. Something they both swore would never happen again. Except, it did. By 2018, it had turned into a full-blown affair. They were finding excuses to be around each other. Imani started stopping by the house more often. Naya suddenly had a million reasons to run errands with her sister-in-law. Late-night gym sessions, weekend girls' trips. All of it was a cover. For 2 years, they lived this double life, always one step away from getting caught. And trust me, there were close calls. But one night in 2019, that's when it almost came crashing down. It was Khalil's birthday party. Big event. Friends, family, co-workers, everyone was there. Naya was playing the role of the perfect wife, making sure everything was flawless. But every time she locked eyes with Imani across the room, it was like the whole world faded. Nobody else existed. And then they got reckless. At some point during the night, Naya slipped upstairs, just for a minute, just to catch her breath. But Imani? She followed. And let's just say, things escalated. Now, here's where it gets insane. While they were upstairs, doors closed, lost in the moment, Khalil was looking for his wife. Someone had told him she went upstairs, so he followed. He gets to the bedroom door. He reaches for the handle. This is it. This is the moment. This is when everything falls apart. But just before he opens the door, someone calls his name. A friend, asking him to come take a birthday shot. And just like that, disaster avoided. But what they didn't realize was that was just borrowed time, because the real moment of truth was coming. And when it finally hit, it wasn't just a simple exposure. It was deadly. Think about how insane this is. Naya and Khalil had been married for 5 years, and for 3 of those years, she was sleeping with his own sister. Let that sink in. More than half their marriage was a complete lie. To put it into perspective, if a kid was born when this affair started, they'd be walking, talking, and getting ready for preschool by the time it ended. That's how long this went on. 3 whole years. 3 years of sneaking around. 3 years of lying straight to his face. 3 years of holiday dinners, family vacations, anniversaries, while knowing damn well what was happening behind closed doors. It's beyond betrayal. And somehow, they kept it hidden. Through birthdays, family gatherings, and even moments where they were this close to getting caught, they managed to pull it off. But here's the thing about secrets. They don't stay buried forever. So they keep doing this and keep getting away with it until everything blows up. It's 2020, and at this point, the affair is going strong. Naya and Imani had been pulling off their little secret for 3 years, and honestly, they probably thought they were untouchable. One night, Khalil comes home earlier than expected. Now, this man was predictable. Work, gym, home. But for some reason, that night, he decided to switch things up. He walks through the door, and something feels off. The house is too quiet. Lights are dimmed. And then he hears something. A whisper. A giggle. Coming from the bedroom. His bedroom. He moves slowly, heart pounding. Opens the door. And there they are. His wife. His sister. Tangled up in his damn bed. And at that moment, it's over. The screams start. Naya is scrambling. Imani is crying. Khalil is losing his mind. Years of lies, manipulation, and betrayal, unraveling in seconds. But here's the crazy part. It doesn't end there. Because a week later, Imani disappears. And that's when things go from messy to deadly. So, boom, Imani vanishes. 1 second, she's everywhere, posting on social media, showing up to work, living her life. And then, nothing. Her phone, dead. Her apartment, empty. No calls, no texts, no sign of her anywhere. And Khalil? He's looking real suspicious. Because let's be real, his wife and his sister just betrayed him in the worst way possible. He had every reason to be furious. But was he furious enough to make her disappear? People start asking questions. Did he do something to her? Did she run away out of guilt? Or was Naya involved in this too? Because here's where it gets even worse. A few days after Imani goes missing, Naya starts acting weird. She's nervous, jumpy, paranoid, like someone who's hiding something. Then, out of nowhere, she packs a bag and leaves town. No warning, no explanation. Just gone. Now, the police? They're all over this. Because this isn't just a messy love triangle anymore. This is starting to look like a crime. And when the truth finally comes out, it's so much darker than anyone could have imagined. A month after Imani disappears, a body turns up. Not just anywhere, but in a shallow grave behind an abandoned warehouse 2 towns over. And the second the police confirm the identity, boom, it's Imani. Now, this isn't just a missing person case. It's a full-blown homicide. And let me tell you, the way they found her, it was brutal. She'd been strangled, her body wrapped in plastic, and the way she was buried, rushed, like someone was panicking, trying to cover their tracks. And who's the #1 suspect? Khalil. I mean, think about it. His wife cheats on him with his sister. His sister ends up dead. And suddenly his wife vanishes too. It's way too convenient. So police start digging into his alibi. And guess what? It's airtight. The night Imani disappeared, Khalil was on a business trip in another state. Surveillance footage, credit card receipts, the whole 9 yards. There's no way he did this. So if he didn't do it, then who the hell did? And that's when the real bombshell drops. Because guess who the police catch on security footage near the warehouse the night Imani disappeared? Naya. Yeah, his wife. The woman who was supposedly heartbroken over Imani vanishing. The woman who skipped town right after the body was found. Turns out, she wasn't running from danger. She was running from what she did. So now the police are on a full-blown hunt for Naya. And let me tell you, she thought she was slick. She cut off her phone, deleted her social media, used cash only, even checked into hotels under fake names. But here's where she messed up. She couldn't let go of Imani. Because get this, while on the run, Naya was still logging into Imani's old social media accounts, liking old pictures, saving posts, even sending messages to herself from Imani's profile, like she was trying to keep her alive in some twisted way. And that was her downfall. Because the police? They traced the logins. Every single time she accessed Imani's account, she was pinging cell towers. They tracked her from city to city, closing in on her every move. And then, boom, they find her, hiding out in a dingy motel in Atlanta. And when they bust in, she doesn't even fight it. She just sits there, staring at them, completely drained. Like she knew this was coming, like she was waiting for it. And when they finally get her into interrogation, that's when the real nightmare comes out. Now buckle up, because this confession, it's straight up chilling. At first, Naya refuses to talk, just sits there, staring at the table, not saying a word. But the second they mention Imani, boom, she breaks. And what she says? It's worse than anyone could have imagined. She tells them that the affair wasn't just an affair. It was an obsession. She and Imani weren't just lovers. They were soulmates. Or at least, that's what Naya believed. She says Imani was getting cold feet. She wanted to end things and go back to being normal. And Naya couldn't handle that. She says she begged Imani not to leave her, told her they could figure it out, that they were meant to be. But Imani? She wasn't having it. She told Naya that this was over, that she was going to tell Khalil everything. And that's when something snapped. In a fit of rage, Naya grabbed Imani by the throat, and she didn't let go. She says it wasn't planned, that she just wanted Imani to stop talking. But by the time she realized what she had done, it was too late. And you know what's even crazier? She didn't regret it. She tells the detectives word for word, "If I couldn't have her, no one could." Chilling. Absolutely chilling. Now, let's take a step back for a second. Because this story, it's straight up insane. Think about it. This wasn't some random crime of passion. Naya carried on a full-blown affair for years right under her brother's nose. Years! That's not just a mistake. That's deception on a whole other level. And let's talk about Imani for a second. Because what was her end game here? She was married to Khalil, had a whole life with him, yet she was sneaking off with his sister. Like, how do you even compartmentalize that? And the worst part? It could have stopped at any time. If Imani had ended it earlier, if Naya had let her go, if anyone had just made a different choice. But nope, it had to end in tragedy. And that's what makes this whole thing so sick. It wasn't just about love, it was about control. And look, stories like this, they make you wonder, how well do you really know the people around you? Because sometimes the biggest betrayals don't come from strangers. They come from the ones you trust the most. Anyways, by the time the trial rolled around, the whole city was watching. This wasn't just some scandalous affair gone wrong. This was betrayal on a level people couldn't wrap their heads around. Naya walked into that courtroom with no emotion. No tears, no remorse, just cold. And when the verdict came in, boom! Life in prison. No chance of parole. She's never getting out. Khalil? He was destroyed. The man lost his wife and his sister in one night. One to murder, the other to the system. And Imani? She's gone. Over what? A relationship that should have never happened. And look, at the end of the day, this whole thing is just sickening. It's one of those stories that makes you sit back and think, how do people even get to this point? How do you go from love to murder? From secrets to life behind bars? And most importantly, how many people out there are living a lie just like this? Right now? Let me know what you guys think about this one, because honestly, I still can't believe it.